Most fantasy writers spend enormous amounts of time designing magic systems. We create rules, powers, costs. We create spreadsheets explaining everything, how everything works. We obsess over consistencies and eternal logic. And unless the function of our magic systems is simply decorative and we have other things in place, our systems strangely fall into the unforgettable. Not bad, not broken, just it doesn't have the oomph to stick in a reader's mind. Meanwhile, we have systems like allomancy, the One Ring, bending from Avatar, or the spells from Harry Potter's books. And it illuminates brilliantly in memory to our readers. Why? Well, it's not because those systems have the best rules, though allomancy is really, really cool, I have to admit. No, the reason is those systems create pressure. Welcome to the Mythic Observatory, where we examine craft, mythology, and storytelling principles behind unforgettable fantasy. And please be sure to like, share, and comment so others can find this material as well. Today, I want to show you the difference between magic that decorates a story, as I mentioned, and also magic that drives a story, along with the understanding of why that difference can completely change how you design your fantasy worlds. We'll also touch upon hard magic and soft magic systems and why they are different than structural and decorative magic. So, most writers begin with questions like, what can my magic do? Can it throw fire, teleport, raise the dead? Can it read minds? And yes, these questions are absolutely essential. They matter, but they aren't the most important questions. Wait, why is that? Well, it's because powers are features and stories are consequences. See, an ability, a magical ability, might catch the reader's attention, but it's the cost that makes it truly unforgettable. It's the consequences behind those abilities, what choices that these people have to make because of them, what these abilities broke or sacrificed, and whether the price was worth it in the end. So, first up, decorative magic systems. Now, please let me make it clear that not every magic system is designed to drive plot, conflict, and theme. Many stories make effective use of what I call decorative magic. And a useful way to think about decorative magic is it helps readers feel the world. It creates atmosphere. It creates wonder and aesthetics and identity and an emotional texture and a sense of enchantment, of wonder within the world. Structural magic, on the other hand, helps drive what happens in the world by creating consequences. Let's look at a few examples. Consider The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. The magic in this story is mysterious and beautiful and dreamlike. Readers get to encounter unicorns and transformations. They get to experience curses and enchantments. The story isn't built around understanding a detailed magical framework. Instead, the magic creates a feeling of melancholy and of wonder and of longing that permeates the entire narrative. And these are the things that drive the story forward. And yes, the magic gives the story its identity. Or look at Stardust. This story has witches and fallen stars and enchanted objects and magical markets. It has strange fairy creatures. Magic fills every corner of the world with the possibility of something new and more wondrous just around the corner. It creates that sense that anything is possible. The magic there is to create enchantment, to create atmosphere where the world feels larger and stranger and more magical than our own. And please, again, decorative magic is not a bad magic system. Some of fantasy's most beloved stories rely on it, but is it the magic that makes these stories unforgettable? Or is the story maybe using both decorative and also structural magic? Or do they have something else in play that is drawing the narrative? Because we read for consequences. Great stories do that. So let's dive into structural magic systems. This has a magical system that, yes, can provide wonder as well, but it does some very heavy lifting with narrative pressure. It creates conflicts that wouldn't exist without this magical structure. It forces characters to make difficult choices, and we see this kind of magic system shaping relationships and institutions, cultures, and even entire societies. A useful way to think about it is this: decorative magic colors the world, while structural magic changes the world. And let's look at a few more examples. Let's consider Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. And I finally got this off my TBR, and I am most of the way through the first book, and I'm really enjoying it. But readers will certainly remember the ability to push and pull on metals. After all, the powers that he sets up are clever and the rules are very elegant. But what makes the system memorable isn't the mechanics of the magic itself, it's the pressure that it creates. This story has a society that has been formed around who has these powers. We see the political hierarchies, we see the oppression, we see the rebellion, we see the survival, and they all emerge from the existence of magic. The system is one of engines actually driving the plot. Or consider Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. Readers will remember the idea of true names and the power that they hold. But what makes the magic truly unforgettable is Jed's misuse of it. We see how that unleashes a shadow that haunts the entire rest of the story. It's the magic that creates the problem, and the magic drives the plot. This magical system forces Jed to grow into the person he needs to become. Now, let me say here, in practice, most fantasy stories don't sit entirely on just decorative magic or just on structural magic. They often exist both somewhere along the spectrum. And they have the decorative and the structural magic performing different tasks, different jobs within the narrative. Decorative magic helps readers fall in love with the world, while structural magic pushes the readers to become invested in the story. So let's consider Jim Butcher's Dresden Files, some of my favorite stories. Now, this story is full of decorative magic. We have the Never Never, we have fairies, we have vampires, we have werewolves, demons, enchanted artifacts, and spectacular spells. All of this creates wonder, its unique identity. But the magic is also deeply structural. Every supernatural power comes with obligations. Every alliance creates risks. Every magical solution carries consequences. Harry's problems don't happen despite the magic. No, they happen because of it. And the supernatural world continuously creates pressure on him to force him to choose, to sacrifice, to adapt. And this also gives us a look into who his character is, which is amazing. There's another distinction that writers often discuss when they talk about magic systems, and this has to do with hard magic versus soft magic. And sometimes writers will confuse these terms with the decorative and the structural, and they don't measure the same thing. They're not describing the same thing. So, what are the different questions that they ask? Well, it's not what role does magic play in my story? Hard and soft magic asks the question, how much does your reader understand about how the magic works? See, in hard magic systems, the rules are relatively clear. Readers understand what the magic can and cannot do, and they wait for the consequences that follow. They understand what the cost is going to be. Now, soft magic, much of it remains very mysterious. Readers experience it through wonder and awe and mystery and even fear, but it's not through a detailed understanding of its mechanics. Decorative and structural magic, on the other hand, are concerned with the magic's narrative function. The question it asks is, what job is the magic performing within the story? Is it creating atmosphere, wonder, and enchantment? Or is it generating pressure, conflict, and consequence? So, in other words, hard and soft describe the reader's understanding of how the magic works. Decorative and structural magic describes the magic's relationship to the narrative. Now, this also means you can have a magic system that is both hard magic and decorative. You can have a system that is both soft magic and structural. Okay, so let's play with this just a bit. Imagine you're creating a world where resurrection magic exists. You can spend a lot of time considering questions like, how does it work? Do I need candles, a corpse, a certain time of night to perform the spell? You know, all the mechanics behind how it works. But what if my first focus goes on questions like, what is the cost? How about if I do cost that every resurrection requires another life in exchange? And this has been done before, but this is a really good one. We suddenly have situations organically where families must decide who is worth saving and who isn't. You will find that you can have governments who reserve maybe resurrection for certain people like nobles and generals and political leaders. Or maybe you have a criminal underworld that kidnaps certain people that can be used as sacrificial victims. Maybe we have prisons for certain people, and it's real easy to get thrown into that prison. And these people here are used. Can you imagine the last wills and testimonies that can be written up? I mean, something like this, with this type of a system, would provide a plethora of different narrative tension of exploring human psychology and morality. You can see the rich ground for impossible choices. Say we have this kind of magic system with this sort of narrative pressure, and we'll add some decorative magic to it as well to give it more flavors. Well, maybe we have an oracle temple where we have it manned by zombies. These could be resurrection victims that didn't come back totally the right way, but they give an augury of what this resurrection is going to look like. Maybe we have corpse lights, which are will-o'-the-wisp fairies that come up from the bog and they just like blink all over to give us atmosphere. And we can add other things too that just give more wonder and more flavor to the story. Decorative, structural, with the resurrection and what it's going to cost. And depending on whether we make it so the rules are spelled out clearly, hard, or soft. Remember, unforgettable magic systems are not remembered solely because they have the cleverest rules. No, they're remembered because they matter. So play with your next magic system. I can't wait to see what you get. So if this video sparks something for you, consider hopping over to my Substacks for my companion essays on this topic. I go into further depth, like linking your magic systems to your theme and a whole bunch of other things as well. The links are down below. And until next time, may your steel be tempered and your roots unbroken. May your path rise to meet you.